I'm not going to pretend it's a shock that, according to a new poll, that crime, immigration, and the economy are still the top three issues for Republicans over Democrats, right? This is a Washington poll, Ipsos survey, and it said 44% of the country, it's all plurality, 44% say GOP is better at handling crime, 42% on immigration, and 39% on the economy. By contrast, only 22% of American voters found the approach from Democrats on crime to be the right move, the right set of policies. When it comes to immigration, they're barely doing better at 29%. And then on the economy, it's 32%. And those are the three biggest issues that voters right now still care about, according to the polls. So that's obviously not good news for Democrats going into the midterm, where historically the party in power tends to lose at least one of the chambers of Congress. Whether or not that still is going to be the case with these polling numbers, I don't know. But it's even worse for Democrats than even I realized. Republicans do better in the polling on gun control. Gun control. And so that either means Americans no longer view gun control the same way Democrats do, as in they look at this issue as wanting to control guns. Maybe they change their outlook, or Democrats are even so bad on that that Republicans, just by default, because they're the only other choice, start to do better. Harry Enton, our favorite theatrical data dweeb over at CNN and insufferable New Yorker with the accent, and I refuse to wear a tie, and it's insane in 1989.
Underwater.
It's just it's yeah.
Donald Trump being underwater, Democrats, and this guarantees us we're going to fly high in the midterms. Let me tell you, this guarantees you nothing, because at this particular point, the Democrats are the New Orleans Saints of political parties. What are we talking about? Trust the Dems or GOP more on the economy? Who leads on the economy? Republicans by 7. Immigration, Republicans by 13. How about crime, a big issue for Donald Trump and the Republicans? Look at that, lead by 22 points. So the bottom line is this. At this particular point, the ball may be on the ground, but the Democrats have not picked up the ball and running with it. If anything, at this particular point, it's the Republicans who are running with the ball on the top issues, the economy, immigration, and crime.
Can we just all acknowledge he does not seem like a big sports guy? Why does he keep leading into those metaphors?
Because it resonates with the common man.
Does it, though? Does the common man watch CNN?
Well, nobody
or
watches
anyone.
CNN. Well, nobody watches CNN.
Except for when who's on?
Jason Ray.
Exactly. Then the masses, they huddle around
Scott
their TVs.
Jennings.
And Scott. Well, shut up. Just give it to me. You don't have to give it to Scott Jennings. He doesn't need any additional help. He also points out, and this is an interesting tidbit. Again, it's still early. It doesn't necessarily mean anything in either direction. But he looked at the numbers and said, Republicans are doing better now than when they took the House in 2022.
Yeah, let's compare it back to 2022. I think this kind of gives away the game right here. Okay, the GOP is more trusted than the Dems on the economy. It was 12 points in 2022. Slight decline in that lead, but still 7 points. How about immigration? It was Republicans by 3 back in 2022. Look at this. The Republican lead's actually gone up by 10 points. What are you doing, Democrats? My goodness gracious. And on crime, the Republicans were up by 13, and now they're up by 22, the lead again expanding by nearly double digits. So whatever Democrats are doing, it ain't working, Kate. It ain't working. Republicans have the lead on all three issues.
And they're going to continue to have the lead on all three issues because still to this day, Democrats haven't really pivoted on any of their language. It's still about authoritarian and the threat to democracy. They have not changed their position on that. How does no one in the Democratic Party realize that there clearly are some vulnerabilities? There are always vulnerabilities of a party in power to take advantage of. How does no one stop and say, maybe we ought not to continue this democracy in peril stuff?
Let's just keep doubling down.
Is it doubling at this point?
Yeah.
Right? What's after quadrupling?
Octupling.
Quintupling? It's rather remarkable. I mean, again, even last night on Stephen Colbert, where Gavin Newsom was, he says, we we might not have an election in 2028. It might not even happen.
I fear that we will not have an election in 2028. I really mean that in the core of my soul, unless we wake up to the code red, what's happening in this country, and we wake up soberly to how serious this moment is.
We might not have an election in 2028. Dude, look at the polls. Why would we not want to have an election in 2028? All the polls show Republicans are doing really, really well. Why would they get rid of the election at that point? Doesn't make any sense. But again, this is the talking point, the new quote-unquote talking point. J.B. Pritzker is out there doing the same thing. Yeah, the reason why we've got the National Guard going into D.C., where they already were, and Memphis and Chicago, it's because setting the stage for stealing this election, not allowing it to go forward.
It's funny coming from people like him and Newsom, especially, too. It's like you're clearly running for president right now. So obviously you
all
believe
of them, exactly. So Gavin is running, J.B. Pritzker is running. You have all these people who are very clearly running for president saying we might not even have a 20. Is that the way to do, instead of just lying and saying you're not running for president? So usually, are you running for president? Right now, my focus is on blah, 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 blah. But so are you categorically stating you're not going to run for president? I am stating right this moment, I am not running for president. Wink. So maybe instead of having to answer that question in such a stupid way, all they're going to do is simply say, no, you know what? I can't answer that question because in my soul, I don't think we're going to have one in 2028. How could I run for something when I don't think it's going to happen? It's like, give it a rest or don't. Continue and look at the polls. Every once in a while, there's a poll that shows some quote unquote trouble for Trump specifically, and they go overboard in covering one little outlier poll. It's been consistently in favor of Republicans on issues and even on Donald Trump. Despite prices not going down the way that he had hoped overall, they're still too high. They are coming down, but they're still too high. That's a clear vulnerability, and yet still authoritarian. Maybe they think people can't define that word and it's going to scare people enough. It didn't work before. It's not going to work now. It's the Jason Rand Show.